Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming out to the press conference this afternoon. Today, Director of Corrections Joe Piccinini offered me his resignation as the Director of our Department of Corrections. Joe has a lifetime of service to our community, spending more than 30 years with the Lee Summit Police Department. He's a man of integrity, compassion, and respect. Joe's public service career began as a probationary officer in Lee Summit, and he quickly moved up the ranks. Ultimately, he was promoted to Chief of Police. His experience and drive to make differences empowered him to accept the Director of Corrections position. Despite the uncertainty surrounding the facility and its operations, it was important for him to be open and transparent. Together, along with the legislature, we made safety and security our top priority. We've invested in a significant infrastructure repairs, improved training for corrections officers, and increased starting pay for corrections officers. Joe's commitment to the criminal justice system is admirable, and I am grateful for his service. But there's much more work to be done to reach the level of excellence our staff, our inmates, and our community deserve. Both Joe and I agreed the Corrections Department needed new leadership, and we need to continue to move forward. Diana Turner will now serve as acting director. She has devoted her life to a career of public service at the municipal, state, and federal levels. In her short time as deputy director, she has had a positive impact on staff. Captain Isaac Johnston will serve as acting deputy director. His public safety career includes serving as warden of 2 facilities, including the Leavenworth Detention Center. Both of them combined have more than 50 years of experience in corrections. I have complete confidence in their ability to lead during this transition. There will be a nationwide search for a new director of corrections. Again, I want to thank Joe for his steadfast commitment to Jackson County. Lastly, I want our associates to know that I commend their dedication and their hard work. They have my full support during this time, and I will act in their best interests at all times. At this time, I will ask Diana to come forward to say a few words. Diana, thank
you. Good afternoon, everyone. First, I'd like to say thank you to Director Piccinini for the opportunity to serve as his deputy. It was an honor, and I am truly disappointed that he has chosen to resign, but I understand and respect his decision. I am grateful for the faith that County Executive Frank White has in me and that he entrusted me to lead the facility as we continue on the foundations that County Executive and Director Piccinini set of transparency, self-policing, best practice policy development, the pursuit of ACA accreditation, and remediation of the facility's physical plant challenges. I am optimistic that we will secure the support of the legislature for our 2018 budget to address our staffing and retention problems by providing the funding for a competitive starting wage for our associates and a salary adjustment for our veteran personnel. We look forward to the continued support of the court, prosecutor, and law enforcement to mitigate our long-standing overcrowding, and I believe all signs point to their commitment in this mission as well. I want to thank Isaac Johnston for agreeing to join me as the acting deputy director. We have a shared vision for the safe and secure operation of the jail. He is highly competent, is well respected by our detention staff, and I have complete confidence in his ability to step up to the duties of deputy director. With us today are several of our key detention associates, and I'd like to introduce them. Lieutenant Jeremiah Schroeder, Captain Christopher Wolf, Major James Eichhoff, of course, Deputy Isaac Johnston, Master Corrections Officer Michael Webb, and Sergeant Claudia Thomas. I want to thank them in advance for their support in our new responsibilities and let them know that Mr. Johnston and I will be working hard on their behalf. Thank you.
Okay, we'll open up for questions at this time. Yes, Jeff?
County's been pursuing accreditation for a couple of years now. How's that coming along?
Oh, wait, you guys on accreditation?
Actually, Captain Wolf, I'd like you to
Mhm.
address this, please.
Sure.
Accreditation is going to be a long, slow process. We are on track to be accredited. Our accreditation manager, Mike Raines, is working every day to make sure that happens.
What prompted the resignation?
Well, Joe actually came to me, and he just didn't want to be. He really felt that he just didn't want to be in a position where things just weren't getting done, and he felt it was be best in his best interest and the best interest of the county that we look for new leadership going forward.
Did he believe that he's the reason that things weren't getting done? Or was he frustrated with the process of this, things are going to be changing immediately and really nothing has changed?
No, I think he inherited a facility that was really in a downward trend in terms of where it was infrastructure-wise. I think Joe has done a great job of. He came in at a tough time. He came at a time when the FBI investigation has started. He came at a time where a lot of the infrastructure of the facility was deteriorating. And I think he's done a great job of working through that and also starting the academy classes and really upgrading the type of people that he thought we needed to work in the facility to get it done. But I don't think he's disappointed in what he was able to accomplish. I just think that with the attention that's been put on the jail, and he just felt like things just weren't getting done.
Follow up on that. What did he accomplish? Because it seems like the jail is in worse shape now than it ever has been.
Well, I mean, in terms of what you mean by shape, I mean, we have pumped a lot of money into the jail over the last 3 years Joe was able to look at the recommendations of the task force that when he came in, he was able to get all those things accomplished. He saw through the HOK infrastructure study, and he went back and he asked HOK to give us a priority list that would take us forward 3 to 4 years while we focus on potentially building a new jail. And we have that list. We have that number. That number's in the budget, so hopefully it'll stay in the budget and going forward. And so I think he's gotten some things accomplished. But the one thing Joe cared. And he not only cared about the facility, he cared about the corrections officers. He worked for higher pay. He also cared about the inmates. And I think that before Joe came, the facility wasn't even transparent to the public. Yes, Mike.
Joe cared, but both Joe and his predecessor, Ken Conley, had no experience in running corrections facilities. Both of them had spent their lifetime in law enforcement. How important is it, do you think, for the next director to have that corrections background?
Mike, I think that's very important. You want someone who has a strong corrections background. You want someone who has a passion for that type of work, a passion for the community, a passion for the corrections officers that work, and just a passion for safety and security.
So it's got to be, so whoever replaces Joe on a permanent basis has to have that background. That is one of the requirements that I have in my mind as the type of person that we're looking for. And like I said, Diana has that type of experience. Captain Johnston has that kind of experience. And so this is what Joe put in place when he was looking for more experienced people to work in the corrections facility. And a lot of these people here are a result of that. Frank, the legislature the other day expressed no confidence in Joe's management of the jail. How much of a role do you think that played, and did that put any pressure on you to seek his resignation?
No, that didn't put any pressure on me. I said in the legislative meeting that I had full confidence in Joe and his staff, and that carried through until we had a conversation, and he just thought that was the best thing to do to go with new leadership and move forward. But
Did that happen again this morning?
it happened actually late yesterday. Mm-hmm.
To kind of piggyback on this question, I'd like to talk to you about the jail You know, and the list of people on the jail task force, it doesn't look like many of them do have experience in corrections work. Don't you think, A, is there anybody on the jail task force that does have experience in corrections? And B,
Yes.
wouldn't that be important to fill a task force of people that do have the experience that you're trying to fix it?
I understand. Diana is our person that serves on the task force. She will be the one that would be in charge of leading them through the corrections part of it. She's willingly agreed to stay on, and I think that is great for us. We tried to put together a combination of elected officials, citizens who served on the previous task force, and also some people from the field of people such as Gene Baker, the presiding Judge Torrance, people like that. But obviously, Ms. Baker decided she didn't want to serve on the task force, and I think that's going to be something I hope that she'll be able to let the task force at least talk to her down the road and get her opinion on the jail. You know, why it's overcrowded, the things that we can look at to relieve that pressure on the jail. Because when you're faced with being understaffed and overcrowded, that's probably the most dangerous situation for these folks, and I think that's why it's paramount that we look at that, and as going forward to build a new jail, then I think you also have to figure out, okay, what is that right number that you need. If you don't look at the process, if you don't examine the process, then eventually a new jail, whether it be 1,500 beds, whether it be 2,000 beds, it's going to be full again, and you're still faced with this same situation. So the task force is just charged with looking at the criminal justice system, giving us a better read on what the community thinks. They're going to be really valuable if you have to. It's like the where, how, and when. You go where's it going to be. You have to get community buy-in there. How you're going to finance it, and when you're going to start. But you have to start with, in my opinion, you have to get a community buy-in to what you're trying to do.
But don't you think it would be smarter to staff the group with people that do have corrections experience? Because a lot of the legislators, a lot of the community people that are on that, we don't have any idea about how to run a jail or what is needed.
Well, their job is not to tell us how to run a jail. I mean, we have the right people that know how to run the jail. I mean, we've already had our facility study. We know where our deficiencies are, and we just have to continue to make improvements, because whether you're trying to build a new jail or not, you still got to maintain the one you have, and so at a high level. So and you can move all these things simultaneously together. We're gonna probably start looking next week, and it's gonna take a little while. You have to post it, and you got to do interviews, and so I don't have an exact date when this is gonna happen. So it all depends on when the applications come in, how they get screened, and things like that.
Roughly 6 months, a year.
Oh no, I don't think it'll be a year. No, I don't think so. It shouldn't be a year.
What's the timeline for improving the jail to where some people are not hearing incidents of people being attacked and being released by accident?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for incidents. I mean, I don't know if there's a jail in the country that doesn't have incidents. I think that what we're trying to do here is follow the HOK guidelines. We went back to them and said, what can we do to get us 3 or 4 years down the road? Give us a priority list. They gave us that priority list. The money's in the budget, and when the budget is passed, hopefully that money is still there, and then we can start these improvements hopefully in January 1, whenever the budget is approved by the legislature.
We've heard several times it'll be fixed immediately.
Not from me, you didn't. No, you didn't hear from me. You've heard people talk about something's got to be done now, but jails just don't pop up. So what we try to do is make sure that we are doing everything internally that we can do to provide safety for the inmates and also for our corrections officers. I mean, these guys, they have a tough job. They have jobs that probably most of us wouldn't want to do, but we owe them better pay. We owe them an opportunity to get up to staff where they should be, and I think they would do their jobs more effectively if they were staffed properly. But it starts with paying people better. And when I took over in 2016, they were making probably less than what their counterparts were making. And so we're trying to catch up. It's always catch up. It's always catch up. And when you talk about overcrowded jails, that's a national
situation now. Also, what else is national is being able to be fully staffed in correction facilities. So if you are understaffed and the jail's busting at the seams, this is the most dangerous situation for our corrections officers working there. So when you say something has to be done now, it can mean a lot of things. It can mean letting people go. It could mean continue the improvements that you're making, which we are. But these guys go to work every day. Want to do a great job for our community and our citizens. I think, Diana, I think we're down a little bit, aren't we? Go ahead. I'll let you have that
Excuse
one.
me. I believe as of this morning, we are 43 or 44 corrections officers short. We also have several vacancies at the level of lieutenant, which is a real critical spot for us.
Has anything changed since the last incident where the guard, jailer, corrections officer was injured right around Thanksgiving? What has been done differently to try to protect the corrections officers?
We're doing the best we can to beef up staffing in that particular part of the facility.
Adding staff? Are there some procedures? Has anything changed?
I'm not going to be able to comment in detail because that is still a pending criminal matter and potentially pending civil case. So I appreciate.
Not the case, but about,
Okay.
about what's being done in the jail to make sure this doesn't happen again, as far as we can. with
No.
the staff we have.
I understand. I want to say two things about that. The first is that, this is a tragic incident, and we're delighted to report that our officer has greatly improved. He's doing very well. So we're very happy about that. We are doing what we can, evaluating each shift by shift, to do what we can to get more staff into that particular section of the facility. That's really the best we can do at this point, because a lot of the problems with that part of the jail has to do with its physical plant, was not designed well for what it does. Again, I would come back to our overcrowding problem and our need to have to use every cell and every bed that we've got. So that contributes to that problem measurably. I also want to piggyback on what Mr. White said, in that while nobody wants to hear about incidents in a jail, and I am with you. I mean, these are our guys, and they all feel exactly the same way. I have worked in federal, state, and municipal institutions in a 26-year career, and I have never worked in a facility that did not have incidents of this nature. Unfortunately, it is. At the end of the day, we house violent people who hurt other people, and so you do the best that you can with that. But our continued challenges with being short-staffed and being overcrowded measurably contribute to that. So.
What's the toughest facility you've been employed in? Which prisons,
The Jackson County Department of Corrections, sir.
beyond this one?
Okay. I worked at Boonville Correctional Center, Tipton Correctional Center. I ran the Federal Halfway House at 1514 Campbell for 2 years. And I ran the Bridges program when the Municipal Correctional Institution closed Jackson County Jail several years ago.
Can we get a copy of your resume? Or someone give it to us?
I'll refer that back to our folks.
Can your officer, is he still in the hospital?
No, sir.
He's out?
That's correct.
Can you define overcrowding? Like, how would you like to see the numbers come down? How many people?
I believe our facility was originally designed for somewhere in the vicinity of 550 to 600 inmates. We have nearly 1,000, something like 970-ish today. So what is that, 50% overcrowded?
But you've also got the annex that was added since then, instead of original, and plus you've got the RCC.
Right, as we speak, I have 76 women in one dorm up in the tower. That is when this jail was built, there was no plan at the time to consider that women would become an increasing part of our incarcerated population. And those numbers are going to affect how we do business going forward. I expect in my career to see perhaps as much as a third of our inmates being female. That affects our demographics. You understand some of the challenges we had when we had our males and females in too close proximity to one another. So that's a priority for us, but so we don't have as many beds for women to spread them out. And 76 women don't live well together.
So can I just go, just one more question?
Thank
So
you.
I'm just going to go back
Thank
to
you. Excuse me.
So your career in the Missouri jobs you've had yet?
No, sir, I've had lots of tough jobs, sir. It's just that this is the first one that I've encountered that has both this kind of staffing shortage, is this overpopulated, and has this very tough situation we're dealing with at the community level. I can't comment on that, sir.
What are your top priorities?
Thank you. I can't. Thank you.